Today's topic is the preposition in. This is a tricky preposition for English speakers. What makes it so confusing is that it looks just like the English preposition in, and sometimes it means in, but sometimes it also means to, depending on how you use it. When you use in with a noun in the accusative case, in means to. And when you use it with a noun in the dative case, in means in or at. For now, we're really only going to deal with the accusative case option. But paying close attention to detail now will save you a lot of hassle later when you start learning phrases that have in with the dative case. First off, let's start with masculine nouns. If I say in den, that will mean to the with a masculine noun. If I say in einen, that will mean to a. Which phrase you choose, of course, is up to you. Do you mean to the supermarket or to a supermarket? What you can't change is the gender of the word supermarket. That's a masculine noun, so you've got to use a corresponding article. Here's how this might sound in context. Ich gehe in einen Supermarkt. I go to a supermarket. Wir gehen in den Schreibwarenladen. We're going to the office supply store. Willst du in den Dom gehen? Do you want to go to the cathedral? Notice that the only articles there are den and einen. That's because these nouns, Supermarkt, Schreibwarenladen, Dom, are all masculine. I couldn't use die or das or eine with them, and since nouns after the preposition in will appear in the accusative case, I also can't use der, ein. It's got to be den or einen. With feminine nouns, obviously I can't use den or einen anymore. Now my options are in die for to the and in eine for to a. Which phrase I use depends on my meaning. Do I want to be specific with to the, or general with to a? Here are some examples. Hermann fährt in die Stadt. Hermann is driving to the city. Wollt ihr in die Disco gehen? Do you want to go to the disco? Ich gehe heute Abend in eine Disco. I'm going to a disco this evening. With neuter nouns, my options should theoretically be in das for to the and in ein for to a. However, Germans use the contraction ins instead of in das. They take the s from das, add it to in, and you're left with ins. Here's how this looks in context. Willst du heute Abend ins Kino gehen? Do you want to go to the movies this evening? Wollen wir in ein Café oder in ein Restaurant gehen? Do we want to go to a cafe or to a restaurant? Wer geht heute ins Konzert? Who's going to the concert today? Ich gehe ins Schwimmbad. I'm going to the swimming pool. Be very careful with ins. In and ins are only one letter different, and a lot of German learners start using ins when they should just use in. They say things like ich gehe ins eine Disco, or ich gehe ins ein Café. The problem here, of course, is that ins already means to the, and can only be used with neuter nouns. So with the first example, you'd be saying, I'm going to the a disco. But not only does that sound silly, the gender is just plain wrong. With the second example, at least café is a neuter word, but still, you'd be saying, I'm going to the a café. You could say, ich gehe ins Café, or ich gehe in ein Café, but you can't jumble them together. Finally, with plural nouns, in die is the option for to the. Obviously, you can't say to a with a plural noun, but if you did want to use a possessive form like meine or deine, that possessive form would have an e on the end, of course. Here's how plural nouns might look in context. Ich fliege heute zurück in die USA. I'm flying back to the United States today. Willst du in meine Konzerte gehen? Do you want to go to my concerts? The big hint, of course, is that you can figure out the genders of nouns from context. You don't need to see Kino in a dictionary. If you see it in context with ins or in ein, then you can deduce its gender from context. What's also nice is that knowing one phrase, like ins Konzert, for instance, helps you figure out how to use Konzert in different contexts. You can replace ins with in ein, which also goes with neuter nouns, if you wanted to say to a concert instead of to the concert. Knowing the phrase with to the helps you figure out the phrase to use for to a, and vice versa. So be very attentive to the little clues that the German language throws at you. It's extremely important, as always, that you learn the genders for mastery. Knowing the gender is extremely important because it will allow you to use those nouns in other contexts and to be more creative with the language than just reciting back the exact phrases you've seen on vocabulary lists. Also, we'll be using how to use in with the dative case soon, and knowing the genders very reliably will make that go a lot smoother. Finally, let's review what is absolutely essential. When you use in with nouns in the accusative case, the phrase will mean to. So with masculine nouns, you'll have in den for to the, and in einen for to a. For feminine nouns, it will be in die for to the, and in eine for to a. And for neuter, the options are ins, which is a contraction of in das, or in ein for to a. And for plural nouns, you would use in die for to the.